Right, so welcome guys to my dojo once again. Hope you're all doing well. So this week is the last part of the 3-part lesson that I did regarding, I guess, mental behavior and basically mentality in fighting games. First part was pattern recognition, the second part was mental composure, and this week is going to be probability. This is definitely going to be the shortest of them all because the more I was looking into it and what I was going to talk about, the more I realized that it was a bit arbitrary. I would just be like adding extra things towards other theory and maybe complicating and convoluting things before in the past. So I don't want to spend too much time going over it, adding more confusion of what is already a confusing genre. So going to keep it kind of short and sweet, and have a bit of discussion with you guys on certain examples, and then take it from there. So probability, what I mean probability basically means the likelihood that something will occur in a given situation. Knowing character options greatly helps in decision making, and when you know character options as well, it should give you the most optimal play in any given situation. Simple example is when a character is full screen, the likelihood of them throwing a projectile is very, very high compared to not. And welcome to Tamer and Mark, good to see you, and Melina Forever, hope you're all good. So this lesson is basically just going to be a selection of clips when I decided to go online and get some games in, and then the first match is basically going to be a whole match, and then I'm going to talk about things that I've noticed and what assists in terms of probability, which bleeds heavily into pattern recognition, which is why I don't want to spend too long over it. And then afterwards there'll be a few short clips where we'll pause and talk about certain things that affects your decision making. So without further ado, and I'm doing well, Mark, hope you're doing good. Let's get into it. So I think this is right. So this is the first match I have against someone online. Haven't fought a Jax in ages, so this is basically just going to be running through the match, and I'm just gonna pause on certain points and then talk about some things. That was a clip of Beyonce teabagging me again. Not this time. Young Jackson's ass. That was a bad decision there. Point number one is getting knocked down on that position. I figured the roll would just get me out of the pressure because I was taking a little bit. Didn't realise the probability of him actually just walking up and throwing to make that hard read. So me losing a chunk of life was pretty fun there. Nice pause. You know what, I deliberately do pauses like this for Jackie because I know a lot of people hate her, so a lot of people would like to see, I guess, this kind of thing. And at that point, just paid attention to the fact that at that distance, around dash distance, the option of Jax's dash command is a real possibility. So something I need to pay attention to going forward. And then full screen, he can do his ground pound. You do love to see it. Yeah, of course you do. I know you do. Jackie is a fan favourite after all. That pause can look weird. Okay. So earlier on, he did another dash command, and then when it hit me, I was full screen, and then he did another ground pound. So you can kind of see how I see it links to pattern recognition, because, and again, he does a dash command into a ground pound. You're kind of seeing what your characters do. Oh, jeez, I forgot about that. Let me finish my point before I get into that. You kind of see what your opponent is going to do, and then make a note of it, and then see what you can do afterwards to like counter your opponent's strategy. Now at this point, I didn't think he was going to wake up Fatal Blow. It's just kind of crazy because it's Jax and it's Fatal Blow. But us at that point in time, if I rewind a little bit, oh, maybe I rewinded a bit too far, never mind. Should have confirmed that combo. But at this point, I was thinking, my thought process was, wake up Fatal Blow is an option here, because he's too far away to do wake up 2 or wake up 3, that will miss, and then I can full combo punish him. But I thought wake up Fatal Blow is a dumb idea. Why would you do that? You shouldn't do that. So he won't do that. Obviously, I was mistaken. Okay, looks like Tame and Sarang are warring. You know, Jax is a character I rarely ever face in this game. Probably should be more Jaxes, because he is good. Okay, so now we're going to go into some clips that happened in the second and third matches. I think it's actually mainly the second match. Jax players don't think logically. Ouch. They have struggles, you know. Not everything is easy for them. But anyway, so this is going to be a few clips, and then I'm going to talk about the probability of certain things happening, and then why I did what I did, or didn't do what I did. Lost his skipping lessons. Do we love to see it? It's just Hollywood. I never wake up Fatal Blow. A lot of people tend to duck because the Fatal Blows are higher, so I do over a launcher. That makes sense. Right, so that was terrible. So get caught by the command dash, and that was an awful decision. So after the command dash, he did the usual pattern of going for a ground pound. So that's why I jumped to dodge it, and then decided to do a grenade, which was a very bad decision, because I forgot about Jax's Fatal Blow again, and that cost me. By the way, Gab, I really struggle with Sonya, so who should I pick against her? Who do you mainly play, Tamar? Who are your mains? Can we just enjoy the screenshot there? This whole time I thought you was playing and wondering why the match was so laggy. Nah, I can't play and stream at the same time, Melina, forever. My net dies. I will leave to see Jackie get beat. So don't say I never give anything to you. Kitana and practicing Jade. Okay, if you're Kitana, your key thing against Sonya is it's a tricky one, because her rings are just as good as your fans, so you don't want to go full distance zoning, but up close you're not going to win up there either. So you kind of have to hover around the max range of her back one to get her to commit. It's going to be a very patient game. As for Jade, Emerald Defender is decent, especially when you've got your phase tool in order to let rings go past and keep her at bay with your back 3 mid and your back 2s. Oh wait, where's Master Hanzo at? He's at the dojo at the moment. Will Highborn work? Yeah, it can do. If you've got your executioner point to make your fans neutral or plus, you can do a lot of chip damage and still kind of steal your turns. But just bear in mind that Sonya will be out damaging you like crazy if she gets in. Gav is becoming a Melina Sam and KP2 is out, I guarantee it, right? Yeah. Melina is my favourite character in the history of the franchise. Whether I'm a stan, I don't know if I can classify myself as a stan. Acting like Jays do more than down to. What? Okay, I believe they can do more than down to. Whether people do or not, it's up to them. Anyway, due to me doing a dumb decision, I lost that round. But let's go to the next point. Next clip. Shut off for 12 hours. Interesting. Okay, so at this point, I'm at. Jeez, wow, Mark's timed out. Wow. Poor guy. So, at this space where Jax is and where I am, this is at the maximum range where Jax's dash command can be used. So, recognizing the things that he was doing beforehand, where around this space he would usually throw it in, at this point I'm thinking, in terms of probability, the likelihood of doing that move over anything else, like jumping in or dashing in, is very, very high. So I'm going to choose to just continue neutral ducking at this stage and then see what happens. And if my guess is right that he's going to do dash punch, I will get a full combo punish. Like so. And with that decision, managed to get me the round. Got kicked out of class and not even by the teacher. Typical school, someone gets bullied, teacher pretends not to see it. Sadly, Antonio, I gave the power in complete trust and faith in said person. If that is wielded by said person, there's not much I can do about it, because once the power is handed, it is what it is. And that was your first mistake. Yeah, I know, but there you go, is what it is. Next clip. So, forward throw, again, in the same area, same range as the dash command, and therefore I'm thinking, even though he's now got the momentum from doing a throw, all I have to do is predict that he's going to do the dash command, stay neutral ducking, and then we'll see what happens. Punish again. You know, I'll be an alright player if I actually learned how to finish my combos and stop dropping them. That can actually take me quite far. Jackie Dot does a lot of damage. It does, Snoozy. If you stand in the puddle for the entire time, you'll take 11% of damage. So it adds up quite a bit. Gav's favourite student still remains unknown. Indeed it does. Right. Melina, new fan fave killer. Okay. I'm here just listening to Gab rather than the class. Fair enough, Dan. Next clip. Against Kitana. And now some of these examples we're going to talk about might be a bit harder to determine because you don't have the context of a match. It's just literally a clip. But next few clips are going to be some situations, and I'm just going to get you guys to throw out some suggestions. So, Katana knocked down there. Let me bring it back a little bit. So at this point, if we talk about probability, um, first thing we're going to say is Kitana's knocked down in the corner. What are Kitana's options? Just throw out some suggestions. What can she do in this situation? Dan says wake up free. Yep. Antonio would do nothing. Not even block. Wow, risky. Okay, just block. Alright. Wake up, roll. Roll to stay on the ground. Delay wake up, roll. Everyone's rolling. Anything else outside the box? Jump. Yep. Wake up down 2. That's legit. A lot of people do that. I don't know why. I guess if you don't have a good mid, that can work. Block and see where the pressure takes you. Block. Or duck. Yeah, see? Plenty of options. So, bearing in mind this is Kitana, and she's knocked down in the corner, what do you think is her most likely option she's going to do here? Spam buttons. Okay, Dan thinks most likely is a wake up free. Okay, so you need to please roll. Tamer believes jump, Sarang believes jump, Antonio says block. Okay. So we got empty short hop, jeez. The mind games. I would actually respect if someone did that, majorly. Okay, so the most common ones we have seen is roll and jump. And of course we've got the up 3. So, we know critality. That as well. We know Kitana's up 3 kind of moves her backwards, so that's not ideal. And we know rolls out of the corner is usually quite common. So then, if you were the Jackie player, what could you do you think? Well, if you were the Jackie player, let me think. What would be the option you think would be the most likely Kitana would do? And then what do you think you would do in order to cover those options, in order to counter them? I would grab if I were Jackie because she'll roll. Okay. That's pretty solid. Most people do roll out of the corner. If you were a Jackie player, I'd ask myself, how do I sleep at night playing Jackie when she's so OP? I play next gen, man. Next gen has struggles. The struggle is real. Jackie just stay back enough to attack after the roll and be safe if he does a jump to you while in the air. Not bad, Snoozing, not bad. I would down 1 into grab back into a corner. Okay. She'd either wake up 3 or block, so I'll keep up my forward 3 max range because that keeps me away of wake up 3 and give me enough time to react if I see a block. It's most likely wake up 3. Okay. Try to flawless block the wake up maybe. I haven't practiced that in a long time. That's something I should actually go back to because I used to do that. And secret tip, I do believe that's going to be the way forward. With the change that they're going to make to the wake up that they announced in the rain stream, I do think flawless blocking wake ups might be a thing going forward. So it might be worth learning. I'll back up and wait until she did something and then just keep pressuring. Okay. That's some fairly good options. All of them are pretty viable. Actually knowing which wake up 3 is a punishable are good to know, but I haven't learned that. From memory, at least 20 characters have punishable wake up 3s if you flawless block them, varying from character to character. Some of them you need the magic 9 frame mid in order to punish them. But yeah, list at least 20, probably more. But I haven't checked that list in a while. So, going for Nat's suggestions, let's play forward and then see what she decides to do. Wake up 3. So my thought process was at this point, I guess knocking her down to the corner, the most likely thing that person's going to do is stop deleting Mark's messages, Sarah, is to space myself knowing that up 3 and roll will cover. So if she rolls forward, I can still use forward 3 to punish as she gets up. And if she does it up 3, because Katana moves backwards, that will give me enough time to basically step in and punish and then take advantage. So yeah, sadly it did not work out for Katana Khan here. Seen it too many times, so typical. Okay, next clip against Baraka. Right, so I've just been thrown into the corner. Poor me. So your decision making was good on this occasion. Yeah, it was done. Made the right call. You basically suggested exactly what I did. So yeah. So poor me's been thrown into the corner. So similar questions. Since I'm on the ground, I deserve it. Wow, the harshness, boy. So if you were me as Jackie, well, actually no. Let's reverse it. If you were the Baraka and you've literally thrown me into the corner, what options would you be looking out for? Probably similar. You'd be looking out for wake up 3, roll, jump, up 2, etc. So, is there any other options that I would consider? I will block. Is that a prediction, Saturn? How do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to block. I would roll, but it's probably wrong. If I was Baraka, I would go back out of the fire and start zoning. Snoozy. That is a smart play, but I guess the other factor involved is if you look at the life difference, you have to ask yourself, can you afford to go back and then zone, or do you still have to keep the pressure on to try and get yourself back into the match? Step back and grab me as the Baraka player. So is that you assuming, Sarang, that I'm going to roll, so you're going to step back out of the fire and then grab me? Block more than free. I'm a pinhead and don't pay attention to the opponent, so if I was Baraka, I'll probably go in for pressure, maybe the low starter. Okay, I'll up 3 because Baraka seems pretty aggressive. To be honest, I'll block and wait until he does not something punishable and he's low in health, so it'll be easy. Block is safer. They have to be more aggressive looking at the life. If you stay in the fire and death, so I want to stay out. That's true. You want Baraka in the fire, so I will block. Okay, that's fair. So, if I was deciding to like maybe block or maybe roll, what can the Baraka do in order to cover those options? Because he's going to think, what's my most likely option? Most people assume roll or up 3 in a corner. So what is Baraka going to be doing in order to counter that? Baraka's going to try and whiff. So make sure that I whiff my wake up? Is that what you're saying? It's going to grabs for life. Bracket could backdash and counter with 1-2-2, since I know you will block out. Backdash play sparks or forward 4-4 KB gets rid of the fire. Ooh, down with the smart stuff. That's true in case anyone never played next gen or any kind of puddle variant like Aaron's acid. If you do a crush and blow, wipes it out. Not block, there's a fire, does damage in the time he's gonna jump. Grab and block pressure if you do wake up or back up with punish, or react to whatever you do. Baraka goes back so you whiff and punish if he doesn't zone. So, a lot of you are thinking as Baraka that I'm gonna either wake up, do something. So I should step back and then punish me. Whether it's a wake up roll or a wake up forward 4. Which is a smart idea. Because not only would that set up his massive damage combo, because with that fatal blow you probably can do over 60. Maybe even more if I do a breakaway and he armor breaks me. And stepping back also allows him to get out of the fire. So that allows him to keep himself safe, get rid of the fire with a KB, get his big damage and potentially end the game. So I'm going to reveal what happens. Let me rewind it a little bit so you can get a bit of lead time. So I expected someone would have, at least one person would have that reaction. So Baraka probably made the right play. He stepped out of the fire, keep himself safe, and went for forward 4. Probably for a crushing blow to beat like any up 3, any roll, you know, and exactly as you called it, the right idea. So this is technically what I used probability against him. So I thought to myself, if he expects me to do one of those two things, wake up 3 and or roll, the most unlikely thing that he'll expect me to do is literally jump back puddle. And the reason why I chose to do that is because if he decides to like maybe punish me with a fatal blow, I still will be alive and still be control. If he goes for a move that doesn't hit me, he stays in the fire and potentially will kill him. And on top of that, if he was going to go for an attack, yeah, my puddle might hit him. Now, to be fair, it's a big risk, because if he didn't step back, if he was brave, he could have gone for the forward 4 immediately. He probably would have been down to like about 2%, but he would have KB'd my puddle, and then he would have got his combo. So if he did that immediately, I would have lost. But because I kind of counted on him doing that, stepping back, doing the forward 4-4, is why I took like the big risk of jump back puddle, and it paid off. It doesn't always pay off, but it worked this occasion. What is it with this 12 hours? Why does it keep being mentioned? Anyway, let's move on to next. Someone requested Hanzo, right? So I think you get to see Hanzo quite soon. Yep, here we go. That little bit here, by the way, is wow, Sarang, jeez, that's dark. That was me attempting to do a micro duck and then punish the high, but I failed that. So get grabbed. So 12 hours has been pretty much a meme between Sarang and Mark. Okay. At this point, I'm knocked down. I am close to death. Quite far away. And I know the Scorpion wants to end this match. So, I decided to take a big risk. I'm not going to ask you what happened. I decided to take a big risk and neutral jump because I figured at that space, if he tries to go for forward 3, it's going to whiff. If he goes for back 1, it's going to whiff. And if he goes for back 3, that's the one I was unsure of. I think he might whiff, but I wasn't entirely sure. But if I'm right, neutral jump will evade, and then I'll be able to get a full combo and probably start getting momentum again. Which worked out. Again, I can't finish combos because I suck. Now, because of that unfortunate exchange, I'm now knocked down with like 1% health left. So you guys, with 1 bar of defensive meter, 12 hours is how long it takes for Mark to think critically. Wow. Okay. What are my options, guys? What am I going to do in order to survive this and make a comeback? Roll back, because I expect Scorpions to expect an up 3. Roll to the front. Roll is a very good option. Roll back into Fatal Blow. That would work for some characters, not for Jackie. Range is too short. Everyone's saying roll back. Delay into Fatal Blow. Yeah, that's a fair good option. Roll back or delay wake up, then spam buttons. I choose forward because back will get hit by his forward 3-4. That's true. That's very true. You could roll back or forward because his momentum makes him stay on you. And Jackie can choke. Stop hating. Let me guess. Roll back is good ideas, but you didn't do that. Melina forever going for the hard read. Let's see if she's right, I guess. She might be right, she might not be. Roll back the 9 frame mid into Fatal Blow. Yep, that could work. So, if I'm the Scorpion player, what can I do to cover those options? Let's say it's either going to be like up 3 or roll back, because that seems to be the most common option. Roll forward into Fatal Blow. Mash. Jump back, teleport. Jump 2. Stay a bit back and be aggressive. RTC is what you do. If you was a Scorpion, some would predict the roll and grab you out of it. Very true. What's his overhead kick fin? I think you do that. That's his back 3. Actually, yeah, back 3 could actually cover... Well, it wouldn't cover the up 3 option, but it could cover the roll. It could beat backward rolls. And that's the thing about probability. You kind of want to try and come up with options that can cover as many scenarios as possible. You'll never find one that covers absolutely everything, but you want to cover up as many as possible. Back through. Wake up fatal. Sadly, I never do that. I don't do that. I probably should, because it probably will work sometimes. I would turn MK11 off and go back to Injustice 2. 12 hours is how long it takes for Sarang to learn how to beat Jiang. Well, I could dash forward and jump forward. That's very true. So, let's play out what happens. I should really learn how to finish combos. Isn't that sad? So, I fell into the trap that everyone did, which is when in doubt on Death's Door, do armor or invincible attack. And he scouted it perfectly with a neutral jump. Which also, if I decided to like backward roll, because he didn't commit to the jump very early, he could have done a teleport if I did a back roll. So that was actually the right decision for him. He predicted, or in terms of probability, he kind of guessed that those two options were the highest I could go for, and he did a move that covered both of them. Sarang missed it, not paying attention to the class. I'll show it for your own benefit, Sarang. Either way, I'm happy because Jackie died. Wow. Jumping saves lives. It can do sometimes. So that is what essentially a probability is. It is ideally looking at what your opponents can do in certain scenarios, and then you think about the options that you can do to counter it. Now, this is why I didn't want to hang up on too much on it, because it's essentially making reads and just adding a bit of like math and science to it, which is just, I guess, making something convoluted when I should really keep it simple. And it leans very heavily into pattern recognition, if you remember that lesson. So that side of it is definitely much more important, pattern recognition, compared to probability. So I would say that's more important, but especially if you're not aware of matchups or not fully familiar with a matchup or a character and what options they have, playing a probability game can help with that, at least briefly, until you start learning about a character. So now the very last clip. It's really hard to adapt when you're in the heat of the moments, though. That's what separates pros from others. Yes, it's true. In the heat of battle, it's very hard to do things cleanly and consistently. Adapting is definitely one of the hardest things for most people to do, but it's probably the most important thing to learn. Because if you can learn how to pattern recognize an opponent and then adapt to it quickly, that can take you a long way. Because things like combos and setups and stuff, you can always clean that up with practice and execution. But recognizing what an opponent can do and then countering it can take you really far. A good example is Lost always doing down one for anti-air. She can't adapt to not doing it. That's an example in a different sense of down ones are decent anti-airs, but there may be better anti-air options for certain characters that she used, or a certain situation. Like if a down one doesn't work, yeah, maybe you need to try a standing one, or maybe you need to go down two. Maybe you need to throw out a normal to trip guard. Right, so last clip is actually a match from, how long ago was this? This match might be 5 years ago. In the recent news that's been announced regarding DLC and MK11, I think it's only fair to pay homage to that news with a match from a previous game. And plus, when I started this dojo, I did say some of this stuff can actually be applied to previous games. So, this is a match from a while ago in MKX. And it kind of encapsulates all three bits of pattern recognition, mental composure, and probability. Yeah, 5 years ago, because MKX is actually a game that I played often. Anyway, I'll let you guys check this out, enjoy, and then I'll pause at a couple of areas where we'll talk about things.
Round one. Fight.
By the way, I believe this is pre-XL because back one was still a mid, and we didn't have the double roll change for Melina. She could launch with just a EX roll. So that's why I say it's quite a while ago. Thank you, Melina, forever.
Round two. Fight.
That was dumb. Why did I do that? Anyway. Right. Don't do low size, it's risky. If they jump, do pressure, try to whiff them back one, two. Yeah, the thing with low size were, if you did them at a certain they're like death if you do them in a certain range. But there are ranges in the screen that you can still do them and still technically be safe. You just gotta not be easily telegraphed doing them. Right, this bit earlier is related a little bit to pattern recognition because I did a telekick, he blocked it, and then he neutral ducked. Now, in that set beforehand when I was playing with this guy, he was blocking my telekick, but then neutral ducking my Psy, and then full combo punishing me. So in that scenario of recognizing him doing that more often than not, I just did an empty telekick. He went for the neutral duck, obviously nothing happened, which means I recovered in time in order to do like a down 3 and then steal his turn, steal my turn. Which you'll see again here. Oh, I think my chat froze. Backcore mid really made her a force to be reckoned with. I believe she was upper mid tier at this time. At this time, yes, she was mid tier, and then XL buffed her to like top tier. Although, funny enough, at the beginning of the game, she was arguably the worst character in the game. So she's literally gone through all the tiers. Yellow balls and Melina's specialty, that's why I kept. I read her so much, no idea. Okay, let's continue. So, despite being in control, I am not in a good position at this moment in time. What? Oh, that combo. Yeah, it's not too bad, isn't it? It's just an alright combo. So, at this moment, I kind of... hey, Rough Diamond, welcome. I have like, what, 1% of life left? Raptor has 3. So, since we're talking about probability, in this old game, what are my options? What are my options, people? What am I going to do? Back 2-1 into telekick. Yeah, that combo, if you needed to build more meter, you would throw that in that corner combo. Um, there's a simpler one that you can do that does the same damage, but if you need a meter, which I needed because I didn't have 1 bar of meter to extend it, that's why I did that. So Dan says roll, of course. Amelia Forever says low side, but I know it's risky. You go for low side. Tell me what's the situation. So I've paused at the point where Reptiles uppercut me, and as you can see, my life is literally death. Reptile's life is literally death. So as I'm about to get up, I'm asking what my options are and what do you think I should do, or what do you think I would do? Back one, wake up. You crazy? That actually could work, back one two into like a Sai. If he was blocking, that could actually work for chip damage. Throw a Sai. And ball low profiles and is fast. It's probably your only chance to win unless he really messes up. Jump into Sai. Telekick. Okay. Some fair options. So, as the Reptile player, what would I expect Melina to do at this point? What would be my expectation as Melina? Dan says ball roll. Dojo says ball roll. Everyone says ball roll. Melina's roll for life, right? So if that's the case, as Reptile, what would be my best option at this point? Sarang says ball roll, so I'd block. And that's true, because looking at his health, if I did roll, he would be able to survive the chip damage. Everyone, Dan says Oki perfectly. So he means that meaty timing. Get that meaty mid in. Gab, am I playing against a computer or a person? All these are against people. All these clips and stuff are against people. It's just paused at the moment. I think Gab's going for the grab. You think I'm going to wake up grab, Sarangway? Interesting. Okay. Jump because Melina can low side and ball roll. She can poke as well. So if we were Reptile, are we all going to say that we'll like block or like run up and block? Basically, expect the ball roll to come. Maybe a low side take because ball roll is too predictable. Jump into Sai. I don't know. Either way, the risk is on me because whatever I do, sadly Melina is taking a big risk. Melina's doing low side. If it's not there, I'm done. So the smart thing for Reptile to do is to probably block and then see what I do and then react to it, because more often than not, most Melina players are going to wake up and do something, right? EX ball roll. If I had the meter, that would be an option, but I don't have the meter. Maybe jump into telekick, but that's so risky. So maybe telekick and then throw a Sai. Alright, I'll wind it a bit and then we'll see what happens. Stolen victory. Now, this was done because I expected him to think that I was going to wake up with a special. Just what Sam would do. So I figured I would actually just sit and crouch block, expect nothing, and then poked for the win as he's about to press a button. So this was basically turning the likelihood of me doing something against him. What was the reptile doing? He ran up and stood and blocked because he was expecting me to wake up roll. So he would have blocked the roll, he still would have been alive, and he would have punished and won the game. I could EX ball roll. I didn't have the meter. So if I go back a bit, after I do that combo, you see that I spend my meter. So I didn't have it at the time I was going to do EX. So his crouch block would have been to block low sire, block roll, block dedicate. Yeah, literally would have blocked all of my options. So I decided to just not do anything and then throw out a poke, and it won. And I know this for a fact is what I was thinking, because after the set he deliberately he stopped the set and then he sent me a message saying, why didn't you wake up roll like every other Melina does? LOL, like afterwards. Which is a commonplace. That's a common thing that most people did. But because I knew that was the case, and he would have predicted that was going to be the case, I decided I'm just going to sit and wait, take the risk of living on my 1%, and then it paid off. Yes, Melina forever. I didn't have the bar, so I couldn't EX roll. My answer, I'm not like every other Melina. Pretty much. The way I play is very different to how most played in that game. Although this feels like a lifetime ago, I'm not gonna lie. Back when I was a young boy. Have you said a bit before last year down one jump is bad? Why is it bad? It's not bad. It's that if it doesn't seem to work against certain characters that are jumping in, then you should try a different anti-air. Don't always stick to the same one, because most characters have more than one anti-air. So if down one doesn't work, maybe standing one. If standing one doesn't work, maybe try and do an early down twos. If that doesn't work, maybe even read the jump and do a neutral jump. Jump two, or flawless block the jump kick into an up two. You know, I play very aggressively. I go in, and almost all my moves are risky. I should chill. What I used to do that a lot, Melina Forever, back in the day. And then the people who used to train me used to just I'm not gonna put it on. They used to beat the shit out of me, basically, day in, day out. So that forced me in order to play a lot more safer, more patient, more defensive. And that's how I basically changed my style to what it is, or what it was back then. Melee doesn't show mercy of players, to be honest. You should just be like pressure, pressure. And that's the right way to play. Well, you shouldn't even show mercy to an opponent. Even if you decide to back off and create space, that shouldn't be showing mercy anyway. You'll be doing it because it's in your advantage to do so. Yeah. No kindness in war. No kindness in combat. So yeah, that is pretty much it. What I wanted to go over with probability, which no kindness in combat, a lot of toxic though. That's very true. Which kind of takes us to the end of the lesson. Let me bring on my purple sun. So I hope you guys liked it. Hope you got some ideas about probability. Again, not the most important thing to learn, but it's helpful to know in development. And I still can't believe it did a down three. Down threes are good, especially that down three. That down three was hella good. Um, but yeah, hopefully you got some good stuff from there, and that kind of puts the end to the mental part. So next lesson is actually the last dojo lesson. Um, there is a bonus topic which I might go over in that same lesson. I might. I'll think about it. But either way, the next lesson will be the last for the time being. So at that point, technically, you all graduate from the dojo, I guess. We need more lessons. There might be some things that might change. Maybe something comes up that I feel like is important to show you guys, or maybe someone suggests something that, hey, it would be nice if you can cover this, and or maybe if there's like a crazy change in like future patches, I may want to revisit some stuff. But yeah, as far as I know, it's going to be the last dojo lesson next within the next 2 weeks. I just attended 2 classes. How will I graduate? All of my lessons are on YouTube, so you can always revisit them. And even though some patches have changed stuff, the core stuff is still there. So yeah, and the lesson essentially is going to be how to review your matches. That's going to be the main lesson that I will go over, which is very key in terms of improving, and especially if we're going to go into the competitive scene. If I do a bonus topic, I'll let you know what it is beforehand. It won't be like this. It'll be back onto the game, so you actually see me doing stuff instead of just watching videos. But yeah, that'll be it. So for those tuning in, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Peace.